Good afternoon. Tuesday afternoon, week 8. So this is the final shot at post amateur hour for this mod and this course. So unless I have some brilliant blast of inspiration later in the week that just can't wait and has got to be committed to video, which probably won't happen. But again, thank you for putting up with me for almost 2 months now. And what I'd just like to do is kind of close by reviewing a few things and a few points. Talk about where we've been, talk about what we tried to accomplish, and the results I hope I'll be reading in the next few days. But what we've got here, quite simply, is a course in strategy. I think it finally took us long enough to get there and figure out what we had. Policy seminar doesn't really quite do it justice, but the idea of strategy, the seminar on strategy, strategic thinking is what I was after, not so much strategic planning anymore. What's it all about? What's creativity about in business? What's innovation about in business? How do we apply big picture thinking? How does strategy affect us in our daily business careers? Do we use strategy? If we don't understand strategy, will we become a victim of strategy? All these points were very, very, I think, interesting, and we tried to look at it from the point of view of a lot of different authors, different perspectives, and hopefully I've given you mine and brought you in contact with a lot of other different ones. So what I really thought I'd go through today, again, some kind of wrap-up points, some things I want to make sure we understand. Feel free to disagree with me, as I often say, that's when real fun starts. And we've got a shot at it on the discussion board, so it'll be great. Mentioning discussion board, why don't I start with that? Discussion boards in this class were really, really good, and as I reminded you a couple times, by the time I get to the 400 level class, I don't participate directly in the discussion boards too much. I try to kind of direct things through the announcements and through the overall picture of how things are going. The discussion boards here were very good. It showed me where people were at, where people were thinking. And it brought me to one real big realization, and that's one thing that happens. You know, whenever we get something that's maybe a little new to us, a little beyond our standard realm of thinking, we tend to fall back on what we know. And boy, did I see that just dozens and dozens of times where people would come back and start talking about their companies and what they do, and if there were ever directions that I gave to folks, it was to get back and expand your horizons. And that's what I think you really need to do. Go back, expand your horizons, think big, think about the big picture, think about the world that's around us. Strategy just encompasses so much that it's often very hard for us to break out of that daily routine and think expansively, but it's something we have to do. The other kind of thing that came to mind earlier this week, I heard a great story. Somebody made a really interesting presentation I was listening to, and they talked about muddling through. You know, do we think we have a strategy and then forget it? Which, you know, I started thinking of various historical analogies. One that comes to mind is, you know, we all know about Christopher Columbus, right? We know what he was up to. We think we know what he was up to, right? I'm gonna reach the east by going west. Was that a strategy? Did Columbus really have a strategy? The basic thing was there, was strategic, but when you really look at what happened to him, what did happen? He really didn't know where he was going. He didn't know where he was when he got there, and when he got back, he really couldn't tell anybody where he'd been. And isn't this what happens to most of our companies now when we interpret strategy? We try to follow that model that I talked about last week of strategic thinking and 3 simple questions. What do we want? Why do we want it? And why don't we have it yet? And that's the way we work towards becoming a strategically thinking and operating company. But the problem is that daily work takes over. We don't get to things. We don't do things the way we plan. And so we take the strategy we develop and we put it on the shelf, and we don't go back to it and revisit it and look at it and say, are we doing the things we need to do to be where we want to be? Really simple stuff, but very, very difficult. It's like I said last video, I believe I used the phrase, all of this is simple, but it's not easy. And it's something I want us to remember. So, strategy is just a wonderful concept. Execution is what gets in the way of success. That's what I think we really need to be looking at. So, in closing, this has been really a great experience for me. Trying to translate everything I wanted to put onto a format that I'm not that great at using yet. I hope to get better, and I hope that you got a lot out of this course. My biggest problem right now is that it's ending, and I feel like I just haven't included a tenth of what I want to include. So look at this week's stuff. When Barry Schwartz talks about wisdom, I think that's just something we really need to take into account. That's a very powerful video, and I want people to look at it. Look at it at the beginning of the week, look at it at the end, and see if it applies to you and your business and your life. I don't know what else I can tell you except that I really have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed reaching out and trying to find ways to get not only facts across to you, but kind of emotions and concepts and realities. At this level, that's what business is about. It's about creativity, it's about innovation, it's about creating value, it's about how we behave as individuals. It's what we do. And I hope you've gotten the benefit out of the course that you came for. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm still here. Thanks a lot.